All right, greetings. Hey, here we are. How's it going, everyone? This is my first time going live and doing stuff like this. I haven't. If you're in the chat, I would really appreciate some feedback. Audio, how's that sound? Things like that. It's great to be here. I'm going to adjust my mic just a little bit. All righty. Yeah, it's great to be here. Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. I match. I have a very excellent and fun presentation prepared this evening. Almost prepared. Just putting some last minute touches. Hey, thanks for the feedback there. Yeah, as you're filing in, give us a what's up on where you're coming from, where you're tuning in from. Let's see here. I am looking at my notes. I'm looking at my, shout yourself out. Where are you tuning in from today? I'd also like to say, as we're getting started here, just a word of gratitude for you all. It's the full moon tonight. What's up, Kabir? Tuning in from Arkansas. It's the full moon, Sagittarius moon. Just want to say I'm grateful. You know, I follow a really unorthodox path, and it may seem strange or even dangerous to some people for me to dive into the world of the natural world, of the places that I'm called to, in order to claim the gifts of this realm and that my own gifts bloom, those ones that I've been given, and to shed my conditioning, and that I may become fully authentic. And with these gifts, I've shared them with others. I'd like to share them with you this evening, and grateful for dedicating my life to a path of healing within, without, and recognizing the abundance to share, and in doing so, the ability to support my family, the ability to provide work for other people, and which supports their families as well, all in the name of healing. So immense gratitude to you all. It's awesome, so awesome. While others are filing in, I just want to mention real quick, just a little housekeeping. The Astro Herbalism Herb of the Week series is awesome. You can find that on my website, 52 Herbs. This is over 90 hours of herb lessons for $1 a week. So 52 Herbs, Herb of the Week, $52 gets you a really stable and probably the best astrological herbal course there is. I got many in-person classes going on. I got a conference in Colorado, which I'm excited about. If you're here in this area of the world, Southeast Wisconsin, come on over to some of our classes. We're doing herb walks, we're doing workshops, we're doing incense making, medicine making, all kinds of really fun classes. And last night I was just on Chance's channel on the Interverse, the Vibrant Live Wednesday show, and we were doing a World Tree presentation. Check that out too. Go on over to interverse.com and check out the merch, and then also the show you'll find that on YouTube under Interverse. And then just like to shout out to y'all, the chat, what's going on. All right, let me start with a little story here. The story goes like this. Once upon a time, long time ago in Europe, in Northern Europe, this might be a fictional story, who knows, but it starts out with a plague. And the plague, that's when our red flags will go up about, it's probably fiction. And in this plague, there was a monk who was helping all the people in his village, and they were being sick and they were dying, and he was seeing people that he cared about and knew about die and pass away. This was from the Black Plague, the alleged Black Plague. And so he gets down one day in sincere reverence puts his bare feet on the ground, puts his knees onto the ground, bows his head in the field, and asks for God, please help me, help protect my village, help me understand what it is, the thing that can help through you for this alleged plague, God, please. In the name of the Son, amen. And when he opened his eyes, before him was a beautiful sight. It was this shining silhouette. It looked like a man, but it was so bright, the sun was behind it. And he said, oh my goodness, that's an angel. That's an archangel. And the archangel spread its wings, and it bowed itself, and the shine started to fade away from it. And as the shine faded away, so did the image of the angelic man. And it became more and more and more like a plant. And as that plant solidified into the ground, the monk saw Angelica, Archangelica, it's called. That's the name of the plant, Angelica Archangelica. And that was his answer to his prayers of the alleged plague. That is something that we're going to be working with quite a bit today. We're going to be working with this plant, Angelica. I'm going to be tuning it up. Check it out. Today, I have a very special treat. In this crystal cup here, I have a flower essence that we made of Angelica. And underneath this beautiful, beautiful day, big poofy clouds, sun popping through, lots of sunshine, lots of interplay of the light, ants coming down into the water just for a drink, going back out. That's all in this essence. And I'm going to be tuning and fortifying the essence in a group tuning. And afterwards, I want to give it away to you. So I'm going to say, this is with a YouTube thing. Stick around till the end. And I'll show you how you can take an Angelica flower essence home with you. Cool. So, let's see here. Like I said, this is one of my first times doing something like this. I'm in immense respect for people like Chance Scarton, who has the clarity to run his show, look at the chat, look at all the presentation, and also be the best host. This is the first time I'm doing something like this, so I feel a little clunky here. So just bear with me, and if you could see something, or you can't hear something, or if something feels like it's going wrong, please let me know in the chat. I would really appreciate that. So Angelica is the plant that we're going to be learning about. And we'll also be doing a group tuning. And I would like to invoke Angelica as our staff, as the thing that we will anchor our tuning with, the thing that we'll be supporting ourselves with. So other names for Angelica, Archangelica, are the herb of the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost is also coming in now in Gemini, right? It's the Holy Gust. It's the holy winds that envelop our lungs and give us that spirit of life. Amara aromatica, which means bitter and aromatic. It's also called masterwort. It's a pretty cool name. Bellyache root. I like the name ground ash, which is something that is reference to the world tree and how this plant is a stand-in for a world tree. And so, yeah, moving on from that monk story. So it was the Archangel Michael that appeared to that monk. And Michael means, who is like God? It's not who is like God, it's the question. It's like a rhetorical question. Who is like God? And the answer, I reckon, is no one, as in not any one of us, but all. The Archangel Michael is a protector. He's carrying the sword, which is the S word. It's the word. It's the element of air in the tarot, the swords. So all of these Geminian ideas. The word arc is interesting too, as an archangel. This is a spiritual hierarchy between the sun and the earth, the realm of the archangels. There's all of these spiritual realms that go from the sun to the earth, and from the earth to Venus and to Mercury and so on, and then from the sun to other luminaries out there. And the word arc is referring to that hierarchy that is stationed between the sun and the earth. So with the word arc, we also get the arc, as in the story arc of where we're going here. We also get the ark, the protector, the thing that is the salvation of humanity. So we're calling in and conjuring Michael, who is like God, question mark, with our words, with our air that we speak, as the protector and the carrier for that hierarchy, and the messenger, as in the Greek word angel, angelos, is a messenger. Let's see here. Going back to the word plague, I just want to tack on something too. The word plague, going back to Webster's dictionary, 1828, if you look up the dictionary, the plague, it means, the first definition is noun, a stroke, from the word plaga, which is where we get the word plaque, like they're etymologically connected. P-L-A-G-A in Latin, plaque also, as in like something that was laid to mark a stroke or a strike or a wound. And think about that in a historical context and what we know about the last so-called plague, right? So it goes on here in this definition. It says, the primary sense, a stroke or striking. So afflict from the root of flog, and probably as the same family as plague. Definition number 1, anything troublesome or vexatious, but in this sense applied to the vexations we suffer from men, and not the unavoidable evils inflicted on us by divine providence. So I think in other words, that's saying like the application of the word to that latter part of the definition is that it would be irreverent, and as it says here, reproachful for that. So in other words, what God gives us is good, and there's no such thing as a plague. It's a state of mind if that's the case. What plagues us today? That's a good question, right? What is plaguing me? That we're verbifying the noun. What's plaguing me? But we're verbing. We're verbs, right? We're not bees. We're beings. And so, what is plaguing me? What is the source of my misery? Moving on, I just wanted to point this out real quick. I love this. This image this is a Renaissance painting of the Archangel Michael, who's stepping his foot onto Satan and slaying him. Look at Satan's little stabby tail coming up between the legs of the Archangel Michael there, just like Ophiuchus in the sky. Ophiuchus is the serpent bearer, but in this depiction of Ophiuchus, the hero is not carrying a serpent, but he's carrying wings on his back. Those stars are representing the wings of Ophiuchus in this state. And instead of stepping on Scorpio and the stinger of Scorpio coming up and stinging his foot, he's stepping on Satan. So astrotheological, as above, so below, all of these things are on the table when we're talking about Angelica, which is a really nice, again, stand-in for the world tree. Real quick on the medicinal actions here before we get to the tuning, the group tuning. In order to describe them, I think it's best to just be with, this is the tincture of the root. I like to just smell it. It's clean, it's soapy. I describe it as being like Clark Kent busting out of, like, it makes my chest feel like it's just busting out with my superhero side. That's what Angelica feels like when I just smell it. Like, I really feel like going into the phone booth and just ripping my clothes off into the pajamas of my youth, right? Um, I feel like it's activating my third eye just by smelling it. I'm going to taste it here. It's really, really, really aromatic and really bitter. Whoa, super bitter. It's working on my throat. I could feel it moving down blood into my heart region. I could feel it in my tummy. It's actually making my tummy grumble just with one drop there. See, the really interesting thing about, there's a really beautiful aspect of plants that have this bitter and aromatic actions together when they're coupled together. Because aromatics they enhance resolution outwards. They take our mind and our energy and they project it outwards, and we could see further, and it changes and it shifts our perception. It takes our energy from our core and moves it out. It finds tension that's wound up in our body and it unwinds it. And because when we take something, anything aromatic, pine needle, orange peel, ginger, it has this enlivening effect. Even lavender. Lavender makes people feel relaxed because it takes away that tension and enlives that energy moving out all around. I'm just checking the chat real quick. Oh yeah, Clark is. On the other hand, bitters, when we taste bitters, they bring that energy and that flow from the periphery inward and flows in and down. So we have a combination of plants that are moving things outwards, propelling our senses outwards, as well as inwards. And there's a few plants that are both bitter and aromatic, and the ones that are very special and have a great amount of virtues and have been used in many different ways in herbalism. But Angelica is one that I would say has a real affinity for our center, for this place that I really want to call in. And when we start our tuning, is that sacred center, this our tube, our inner tube. If we were to take a scissors or a knife and we cut this beautiful stalk in a couple of places, we'd be able to see through it like a periscope. It's got a hollow tube, and that hollow tube is a signature for our tubes, our respiratory system, our alimentary canal, and the digestion, moving the digestion along. But also, Angelica is a great one for the imagination. It's a portal medicine, teleporting your imagination. There's an herbalist named John Parkinson, and he was back in the 1600s, and he wrote a book in 1640. He was the botanist in the court of some kings, including King Charles I. And in his book Theatrum Botanicum, he just goes on and on about Angelica. It's the greatest. It's the best thing ever. Blah blah blah. And he says, quote, "There is not a disease that Angelica cannot treat." Not a disease. That's a bold claim, mister. Well, he wrote this book when he was 70 years old. And so he had a great deal of experience as a botanist, as an herbalist, as a practitioner. And for him to say there's not a disease that Angelica cannot treat. I'm just going back here for a second because I have a note here from Gerard on my slide. Not on the slide, but on the notes. Gerard, another herbalist from previous time, said it's a singular remedy against poison, against the plague, against infections taken by evil and corrupt air. And I wanted to mention that in regards to Satan and the devil, but all afflictions really are of spiritual nature as well. The purple stem, this particular one that we're looking at here is not Angelica archangelica. This one is the one that's in the Midwest. This is my friend. This is my buddy. This one is Angelica artropurpurea. And that's the one that we made a flower essence of today. Angelica artropurpurea. And that purple stem is a signature for the blood circulation, moving stagnation in the blood. That's in particular in the pelvic region, in the digestion, in the lungs, and all throughout the circulatory system. But again, bitter aromatics, they move it all. They improve our central vortex, if you will. Other herbs that have more of that like leafiness, like yarrow and mugwort, they work more on the outside. on that peripheral circulation, and Angelica works right down the middle. There's a word in herbalism called alterative, and that means something that improves the absorption, the assimilation, and the elimination of food and nutritional astral forces in the body, I guess you could say. So this is a really great alterative. It alters the mind. It alters our imagination. It alters the function of our physiology. There in the Ayurvedic tradition, this plant is called charoka, which is really interesting to me because it's a member of the carrot family, and carrot, the botanical name of carrot, is carota. So charoka, cha or karota, karotka. And in the Ayurvedic tradition, this plant is great for dispelling vata. And vata is the wind, it's the ether, it is, in other words, this is a plant that tames the wind. It tames that holy gust, that holy ghost. In the Ayurvedic tradition, we say that it is improving of the apana vayu. We have 5 winds, we're a 5-pointed being, we're a 5-dimensional being, and one of those winds drives our energy down into the ground, into the Mother Earth. And that's what's called apana vayu. So this one goes straight down into that downward channel. In the Ayurvedic tradition, it's said it's strengthening of the heart, which is, the muscle, the emotional heart. It increases alertness. And here's my favorite. This is the plant in a lot of our Ayurvedic practitioners, apothecaries, for psychosis, dispelling psychosis. This plant is a spell breaker. It breaks the spells of black magic. That's one of the reasons, actually, when in like March 2020, people were getting sick. People were scared. There was a lot of there was respiratory illness. There was a lot of reasons to work with an herb for the respiratory system. My go-to herb for a lot of that time was Angelica, orange peel, and ginger. Angelica dispelling the psychosis, dispelling and improving the alertness, dispelling the fear. Of course, orange and ginger have this like familiarity that's just like, it was very, very effective. So it's a remedy for black magic, right? And I think all diseases start from a spiritual seed. They precipitate down into a physical disease. That's my opinion. So this plant, I would say, because of its remedy for psychosis, black magic, it is something that's like sharpening the sword of Saint Michael, so that we can cut through the BS, so that we can cast out the temptation of fear into the abyss, which is another way of saying grounding out, right? Grounding it out. It's a much more dramatic biblical way of thinking about it. It's not about suppressing fear, it's got a voice. Let's let it have its voice. It's about transmuting that into a source of power and vitality. This is also called bear root. And one of the reasons why is because when the bear wakes, the bear is a creature that is associated with dreams. It goes into the earth every year, into a crack in the earth, and into this stable place. It dreams and dreams and dreams. And then when it comes out again, it goes in there as a big old, lumbering, full-bellied bear. Boom, boom, boom. And when it comes out, it's been dreaming and imagining this new world into existence. And it comes out and it's hungry and it needs something to stimulate its digestion. So one of the first things it looks for is aromatic Angelica root. So isn't it interesting that this root calls the bear by being not only oily and stinky like the bear, but hairy? This is totally a bear root. It's a plant for the imagination. It's a plant for the constitution of somebody who has that lumbering, hard to digest physique, but also that emaciated, my world, I don't know if my world is real. I'm a vata, dispelling vata remedy. So it's good for both of those constitutional types, and also the spring and the fall. as far as alternatives go. And the Swami people, sorry, in Lapland, observe this as a bare root, as well as the indigenous people of North America. So let's see here. I wanted to play this for you. This is angelic. This is from my Angelica patch here. As you can see here, there's like little, if you can catch this closely, there's like little white terminations on the serrations of the margin of the leaf. So the leaf looks like it's like covered with all of these little white speckles. Okay, it's kind of hard to see on the camera here, but I promise you, when you're standing next to Angelica, out of the corner of your eye, it looks like the plant is sparkling like an angel. And it has this big old leaf set, and it looks like it's like wide open, like the wings of an angel sparkling with the sun behind it. It can get 7-8 feet tall. It's got a very formidable protective energy. Here's something I want to show you too. This is awesome. This is the signature for the head of a baby. Okay, as the plant starts to bloom its flower out, it has this, there's like, almost looks like the lips of a vagina, and it just pops its head out first, and then after that it blooms. Okay, check this out. You can see it, and pay attention to the leaves as well as you see them. There's another one. It's about to pop out. Okay, that's the signature of this particular plant being a reliable resource for the emergence of the placenta. So the child comes out. Here's my own experience. Okay, my wife, the child came out. My wife's pregnant. She's in labor. She's doing great. Baby comes out. Here's daddy. I got to be part of the story, right? Okay, so here's daddy. It's a boy. 2 milliliters, 2 full droppers of Angelica right away. Why? Because we want that placenta to come out. We want that guardian angel. This is the plant of the relationship that we have with our guardian angel. Here's in a tuning that I was doing a couple of days ago. The client had lost they had their appendix removed. And at the time, in the timeline of that, the feeling that I got was that the gut bacteria, so first of all, let me just real quick explain. The appendix is like the cave that the gut bacteria will retreat into and get nurtured and take care of and multiply during something that is causing a lot of illness to the gut, right? Including antibiotics, but in particular, it could be some sort of illness. It could even be like food poisoning and stuff like that, and they go down. And the feeling that I got in this tuning at that point was from the microflora, and they were saying, we don't have a citadel. It was almost like they were stressed because they didn't have that place to retreat. And so what we did was we just imagined the area of the appendix as a vestigial, quote unquote, organ that is filled with light. There's no darkness there. Everything is complete. My needs are met in the sacral area. My needs are met. And instead of the bacteria going into a place of darkness for nourishment, now we're calling them into a place of light. So I want to show you this that I found. This is pretty cool. Hey, cut off the top of the leaf, put it in this biophotonic camera, and boom, that's still there. That light is still there. Telling me what I think you're telling me, Kyle? That's what we're going to do today in this tuning. So, I'm going to stop sharing here, I think. Here I am. And I'm going to get to my tuning. Before I do, I just want to say what's up to the chat. What's up to Chance? And I also want to say a word of gratitude for Chance. Chance is my mentor in this field. This is a field, for those of you who aren't familiar with Biofield tuning, that was developed by Eileen Day McCusick over 20 years of experience. And with her experience in research and practice, and even just following her imagination, came up with an anatomical map of the biofield. And following the scientific query of how does the tuning fork relate to our the subtle electrical magnetic field that surrounds us. This field is made of plasma, and it exists in the ether. The ether penetrates everything. It is all around. So while this modality works in person, through the sound of the tuning fork in person, it's not limited to that. It works through distance. It's going to work here today in this way. It can be received that way, I should say. And it can be received regardless of time because it's the ether. One of the ways that she likes to describe that whole thing is you don't have to be at the studio. You didn't have to be at Mozart's desk to be moved by Mozart. You didn't have to be at the piano. You didn't have to be at the studio when Ram Jam was playing Black Betty in the tss, tss, tss of the hi-hat. Oh, Black Betty, stambalam. Oh, Black Betty, stambalam. I mean, that song rocks, right? Oh, how do you know? You weren't there. No, this song rocks. It still rocks. It's been recorded a long time ago, and it still rocks. When you hear it, it still moves you, right? The thing got a wild stambalam. Whoa, Black Betty, dambalam. I wrote a song. I wrote a jingle today. Oh my gosh. I wrote a jingle while I was out with the Angelica. Oh my gosh. I got to see if I can remember it. I thought it was really good. It kind of moved me to tears. So I got to get Black Betty out of my head first. All right. So when it comes to this group tuning, all I'm going to do is pretty easy. I'm just going to take the collective of everybody. I'm going to throw myself in there too, because I need some of this tuning. Take the collective of everyone here, everyone that's in the chat, everyone listening in the future, listening tomorrow, listening 100 years from now when they unearth the YouTube from wherever it is. Okay. All that is going to be applicable. And we're just going to put everybody into this collective group. I will be speaking as if it is there for the group, but things might come up for the individual. One might feel like a particular item in this tuning is there for you. So I invite you to go into that, explore that. And most importantly, we are going to bring our attention to our channels, this channel that Angelica gives us, this sacred portal, if you will, that connects as Eileen McCusick calls it, the sun star, which is above our head, about 8 to 12 inches or so. And that is the terminal that is bringing in that etheric, heavenly energy. And then our earth star, there's a tube that goes whoop, right down. It's a vortex, and that energy spirals out and creates this plasmic field. The one that's below our feet, it's about 8 to 12 inches, again, relatively below the feet. That one's called the earth star, and that's the negative terminal that grounds us to the earth. All the while, I'm going to be honoring this. This is a crystal glass, by the way. And I really wanted to show this water some love. And we will be tuning, and like I was saying, I like to use the word fortifying when it comes to the tuning that we're going to be doing with this flower essence. Yeah, you know what? I've been cutting a lot of plants myself, a lot of trees too. Brandon's mentioning about live oaks turning into firewood. I've been doing a lot of chainsaw stuff too, and it actually gave me a really good realization about how to work with tension in the biofield. For example, when a branch is hanging, there's horizontal tension pulling on the top of the branch, and that tension is moving in the opposite direction from the bottom of the branch, if that branch is hanging. So if I came up with my chainsaw right here, that tension would pinch it and it would get stuck. And that gave me a really good understanding about when it comes to stuckness in the biofield, because sometimes I feel like my tuning forks get stuck. And I think a really good idea is to have options for wedging that tension point out, or even coming from another direction and meeting it at the other side. And when I do, this is, by the way, one of the things that I really want to do is bring your attention to my services as a practitioner, as an herbalist. I do Biofield tunings one-on-one for people. We do them in this distance kind of way. But when I do, I'm working with the entire body and I get to comb through. It's not a chainsaw, promise. And the funny thing is that as an herbalist, normally in my clinical work, I'm asking questions and there's an interview process and there's an imagination that takes in certain directions. And the point is to help the person arrive at the conclusion and not actually be prescriptive. And when it comes to the Biofield tuning, a lot of the questions are gone. All I'm doing is listening to the fork. And so in a way, I was telling this to my wife this morning, I was like, in a way, it's like I'm literally stabbing in the dark with the tuning fork. Whereas a lot of times in my interviews, I'm figuratively stabbing in the dark, like, which direction should I go? But the tuning fork is objective. I can hear exactly throughout this plasmic field, like Eileen describes it as like a record needle combing through the sounds. Oh, track 2, that's Black Betty. Oh, track 3, that's whatever. And just kidding, but there's a timeline, and with the tuning fork, it's not stabbing in the dark. It's bringing that light, hearing that light. It's amazing. It's really amazing. So I do that, and I offer some herbal remedy to help adjust the tuning into place over time, and it's a very good practice. And if you're interested in working with me, then please check the information in the description of this video. Okay, so what I'd like to bring you now is what I'll do is first I'll say a little prayer, and we'll get into the tuning. I will like you to remember to just breathe. I think it's really important to you're going to hear me breathing, you're going to hear me grounding out with my breath. I'd like to just lead along what interpretations I'm hearing from the fork. The fork has some objective rings. Sometimes it wobbles, sometimes it dampens, sometimes it gets really high pitched. Those all mean different things. I also ask my fork if it would be a reflection of the body, and the part where the music is most concentrated is the part of the biofield anatomy that we work on. So sometimes I feel that the fork is ringing way up here at the most, and that's when I say, oh, there's the crown. Okay, sometimes it's more down here. So I also use my fork diagnostically for the group as its own little fractal of the biofield of the group. It's pretty cool. Our intention means a lot. I really think that it's great to just sit down, lay down, be with your breath, pay attention. If you feel like that's not an option right now, it's okay. Come back and listen to it another time. And I think it's really important also to work with water. Work with water. I have some of this flower essence that I think will also be a great charger upper for you that is on offer for us at the end of this here. But at the end of the day, get yourself a nice, be a little extra hydrating. Maybe even run your feet under some water or be in a stream. Water helps ground that out. Anything else? Okay. So here's my prayer. I'm so grateful to be here today, on this beautiful day, with those of us who are listening. I'm grateful that I may be a witness of the beauty and awe and mystery of this realm, and of all of the things that need to be heard. I call in that single point that connects us all, as we are but petals of flowers on the Angelica. We look for the center, the single source that connects us all. I ask that thy Holy Ghost be tamed and grounded through me, that my fork ring true, and that I may stand neutrally as a witness, grounding these impressions out. When I strike my fork, as I strike my fork, may this prayer be heard continually, and I say this in the name of thy Son. So, I'm going to show you something here. I struck my fork. I don't believe, and I'm not sure though, if the sound of the fork is coming through. I was trying this earlier. Let me know if you can hear the sound of the fork. I think that my microphone just doesn't want to. I think it's got a gate on it of some sort, and that's okay. There's angels at the gate. In any case, I can hear my fork, and the first strike that I hear, there's a lot of, I'm going to say, adrenaline. It's excited. It's got a lot of buzz in it. Oh, thank you. It sounds good. All right. Strike this again. Yeah, we are, this is perfect. Angelica is, to me, a archetype of the solar plexus. In my work right now, I'm categorizing a lot of plants as archetypes, as they are within the human biofield. So we know that Angelica is good for the lungs, it's good for the mind, it's a messenger. It helps us with our logos, our sacred logos. It helps us with that expelling downward wind. But as an archetype, where it resides in the biofield is on the right side of the solar plexus. And it's right in between here and the sacral that my tuning fork is giving the most buzz. It's almost like there's a lot of kidney stuff going on. I could feel it in the backside of my fork here. A lot of buzz. There's a lot of excitement. It's not fear. It's just a buzz. Funny, when I first saw this plant, I had been praying about doing a flower essence for this plant for a few weeks, not knowing if the plant would be in bloom. I believe today was the first day it was in bloom. But I had been praying for it, telling it I was coming to it. And when I first saw it, far off in the distance, as I approached it, I got a buzz. Bzzz. There was a fly that came in my ear. I wasn't intoxicated. I got a buzz. And it's that feeling right now that I have in my tuning fork. It's not an irritating buzz. It is a message buzz of a lot of energy. So, one of the tricks of these emotions that come up is to name them and let them go. Let them ground them out. We don't have to try to make them okay. We don't have to try to rationalize why they are the way they are. Just understand that there's a buzz, just like there's a fly sometimes, and ground that out. At this point, I'm going to focus my tuning on that Earth star, which is right below our feet. So bring your consciousness and the energy of your body from the outside, from where you are, from your impressions outside. Bring all of that energy from your fingers into your hands, from your toes into your feet, up your ankles, and into the center. Try to call that energy towards the center and improve that spiral, that vortex. See if you can make that feel really, really efficient, as if there's no gurgling at all. There's a strong, straight pillar. And with this next strike, we will just ground out through all of that information that we just called in, and we'll just put it right down, calling in that, taming the Holy Ghost, Holy Gust into the ground, into our Mother Earth. You know, our mother is, the impression I'm getting is that our mother misses our feet. Our mother misses our bare feet. There's others that want to make claims on our bare feet, and they're fictional. And our mother is the one that knows the imprint, the energetic imprint of our electrical body into the earth. And not only can it receive everything that we're pulling up, and all the impressions that we're pulling up and grounding out, not only can she receive that, she loves it. She loves to receive that. With that energy, she creates more. The feeling I'm getting is that, I guess my first tip is to do more work barefoot, with the feeling that we are tending our earth with our energetic footprints. We're not just grounding ourselves. It's not a one-way street. We're getting energy from the ground. No, we can also intend to give that energy to the earth, as if we're tending the energetic imprint of our garden, of the places we walk, of the places we move. Our mother misses us. That's the feeling of grounding. That feels really grounded. That strike. Okay. Now I'm going to focus our energy back up to the top of our pole. This is I don't know if it's our positive polarity or if it's our negative polarity, but in any case, it's everything up here is positive, and I believe that it might be our negative polarity that's receiving the positive inputs of the sky, now that I think about it, but it doesn't matter. It's our sun star, we'll call it. And so, same idea. We're opening up our sun star, tightening up this form of of this tube that moves through us, that connects us with heaven, and bringing that energy down to our mother. Liam says, "What a sync. I was in the garden and had a thought, why I got my trainers on. I took them off to water the garden." Yes, be as barefoot as possible. Remember that our mother has the claim of our energetic imprint, and everything else is fiction. A little resistance I'm feeling, closing off to that Father Sky element. Let's go back to the solar plexus for a second here, and what Angelica can represent in the solar plexus. This says the solar plexus is where our incarnation comes in, to our will. This is where we get information from our father. This is where we get information from our mother. Father comes in on the right side, that's the liver. Mama comes in with mama's spleen. Let me take care of your blood. Let me contain you. Let me hold you. Let me nurture your blood. Father, liver, self-sacrificing, orderly, and also our paternal lineage as well. Chance mentions, "Forget not that the earth delights to feel your bare feet, and the winds long to play with your Harkil Gilbrin, the prophet." Play with your hair. Okay, I get it. This is where we get our willpower, the solar plexus, our self-esteem. Let's take a deep breath in for our will, for our self-esteem, calling in our paternal line and our motherly line. Solar plexus rules the pancreas, it rules the spleen, it rules the kidneys, it rules these orderly organs, right? And it's in that area between the solar plexus and the sacral where we have the relationship with the kidneys and the sacral, and the solar plexus and the will, projecting our will outwards as the adrenals do. See, the adrenals are also receptive. They are also the things that feel the output of others. You could feel when somebody else comes in the room with a lot of, let's just say, caffeinated energy, right? They don't have to have it in their gait. They don't have to have it in their walk. They have a feel. They have a vibe. Sometimes our adrenals are buzzing from all of that information from everybody else. I have an exercise I'd like to do now. I think this will be cool. All right. Let's rub your hands together like this. We're going to do a Qigong exercise. Rub your hands together. Just clear the energy on your hands. And about, 8 inches apart, hold your hands out in front of you. And gently squeeze them together, pull them back. Squeeze them together and pull them back. Until you can feel that Qi energy moving, pressing against your hands as if you're pushing against a balloon. It might take a few times, but eventually you're going to feel it. And when you start to feel that resistance from that Qi, push one hand against the other and you'll start to feel it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. And when you get that Qi ball, try to make it a little bigger and feel that resistance. Okay. Now we're going to put that right in front of us here, right in front of our name. Same thing. We're grabbing that Qi, and what we're going to do is bring that Qi into our Dantian, okay, which is about 2 fingers, the navel. If my nose is my belly button, aiming this Qi ball, okay? And we're just going to push it in with our mind. We're going to push it in with our fingers. And imagine this Qi, this ball of light, going into this area that connects and bridges our will and our flow, our solar plexus and our sacral. Okay? Now, I would like you to imagine that we just planted a seed. We just planted a seed of light inside of yourself. And I'm going to keep this meditation going while I'm ringing here. And that seed is germinating in our Dantian, which connects our incarnation and the ability to flow. And it starts to sprout. And where it sprouts is from our wound, our scar, our belly button. Just close your eyes and imagine a sprout of light moving out from your belly button. And that sprout of light is our umbilical cord. Just like at the beginning of our presentation here. It's there. That light, we remember that light. Now let that sprout grow and be playful with it. See where it wants to go. Does it want to go straight out? Does it want to slither around? Reverently play with it. I'm imagining a little lasso. Just tugging on it like it's a helium balloon that's 2 months old. It's not really going to go anywhere. Now let that keep sprouting and sprouting and sprouting. And just like that angelica plant with its head that sprouts out, let the flower of this sprout bloom. And see that in front of you, above you, guiding you. And that sprout is our placenta. We're underneath our world tree. We're underneath our connection and our access to where we were before we came here. Take a look at that tree. Every branch that's in that tree represents a fractal of our family, of our mother's side, of our father's side. Our placenta has genetics of both. Not only of the people that we're genetically connected to, our parents, our grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, but all of their family, their brothers, their sisters, their uncles, their aunts, their cousins. Those people aren't genetically informing us, but they are informing the fractal and the shape of it and who it is. They're the ones that teach each other how to do the skills and braid each other's hair and push each other on a swing and catch frogs. They might be brothers and sisters and uncles, but they are informing these branches. So this canopy it's not shading anything out, it's actually providing more light. Underneath this canopy, there's so much light. So bask in this light and start to give thanks. Thank you. Thank you, placenta. Thank you, guardian angel, for giving me the nourishment that I needed when I was in the void of amniotic fluid, for protecting me from all of the dangers of what was out there when I was in my most vulnerable state, and giving me the encouragement that I needed to, in my most vulnerable state, in the thing that maybe was scary for me to come here. But I did it. We all did it. We went through one of the hardest things we ever had to do in our most vulnerable state, and we had our guardian with us. And it's there. It's there again. I just want to thank you. I wish that I could send you back to the earth. I wish that I could give you a proper burial. But I'm going to. I'm going to keep you. You're here with me now. You never left. You never left. You're right there at my side, and I'm so grateful that you're there as light. And now when I tap into you through this source, through this way, through my solar plexus, you're there as a light and a guardian, and I can honor you and give you gratitude. I feel also called at this moment to send healing and love to all of my ancestors that came before me, and also grounding out this energy into Mother Earth for all of the kin that come after me. Whew. I feel that Angelica is a great emblem of protection. It is our guardian. It is representing the emergence of that guardian to be by our side in our most vulnerable time. In this, I would say I am supported. I have the support of my guardian angel, and I have the protection of my guardian angel. I have the support of my guardian angel. I was able to come through this portal into this life, and now I have confidence. There's no, I take that back, never mind. I was about to rationalize I was about to rationalize an emotion, and I decided not to. Now, I radiate. My inner sun, my connection with the will of the divine, it lights the way. It lights the way through this portal with my imagination, with my guardian. It entrains the vibrations here. I cast light onto the darkness so that those that follow me may see, and myself may see, the will of the divine. And now I feel that sun star opening up and everything flowing through. This is the feeling right now of being alive. This is the feeling of connection with God above, with earth below, feeling protected and guided below. I'm not flying around in space. My feet are on the ground and stable. And my mother below me loves that I'm there. My Father above gives me the protection and guidance that I need to go forth confidently, as if my words and sword were sharp, like the Archangel Michael, and that if I see fear, that I may cast it down into the abyss and ground it out, thus transmuting it and making it the sense of fear into a sense of power. I know my goals. I know what my goals are, and I know how to achieve them. I know that I'm going to achieve them. I don't know how I'm going to achieve them. I feel protected and supported that I'm going to achieve them. Now I'm just going to I have a little fine sandpaper. This is the hi-hat. This is the hi-hat, and this is a 528. I'm just going to go through a little fine sandpaper here. And I'm going to take all of that, so those words, this energy, I'm going to store that into the memory of this water, this flower essence of Angelica. And I'm going to say, you know what? I have a note here of, I just learned about Lotus Way, Katie Hess of Lotus Way from the Innerverse podcast. Which is an awesome podcast, by the way, the best. And I was doing some research before I saw that podcast on Angelica flower essence. And wouldn't you know it, I found myself at Katie Hess's website. It has a great synchronicity, and she says that can never be said better, in my opinion. It enhances our awareness of benevolent, unseen forces and angelic or protective support. It opens up a visceral sense of magic and synchronicity, helping us to feel fortunate and lucky and grateful. It awakens us in the sense of interconnectedness and of inner knowing that we are supported by the divine and beneficial forces with whom we can co-create and ask for assistance. I use Angelica flower essence whenever I feel like calling in angelic assistance. And I've done it before with knowing myself, knowing that this is the hierarchy of the sun and of the protector of that hierarchy between the sun and the earth. And sometimes if I find that there's, let's just say, modification that is going on in the sky, and I don't fall into that victim state, I can use a little bit of Angelica flower essence, and I feel that clarity again. I feel the return of the power of the sun. I see the sky clear up. I call in the Archangel Michael to clear it up. Happens sometimes. I also think Angelica is the remedy for aliens, and and so I'm just going to leave it at that. I mean, it does dispel psychosis and helps ground things out. So if we feel overtaken by all of the spiritual warfare, or even the ability to feel confidence, and even the ability to feel like so destitute that you can't even pray. There's a verse in the Bible. I wish I would have looked it up, but it was basic. The summary of it is, when you don't know what to pray for, just groan. Just groan. Ugh. And the Holy Spirit will interject on your behalf. The Holy Spirit will take it from there. So in that feeling of desperation, of not even knowing what to pray for, and really falling into the victimness of this incarnation, and also fear of how can I step into my power? I know it's on the other side, but it feels better to suppress it. It feels better to push it down with drugs and alcohol and movies and scrolling and doom scrolling and victimization of myself. But with the awareness that actually those things are suppressing it, also needs to have the will to push through that. We pushed through the portal into this realm in the most vulnerable moment of our life. Remember that. We're here, and we are much more courageous now than before. We have that protection. It's with us. So claim that. You can claim that with Angelica, flower essence. You can claim that in yourself with the remembrance of your placenta and the light that comes forth. And you can claim that now with the tuning of your solar plexus. All right. I feel like closing it off with a little shake. This is my rattle. This den of snakes here. It's a bunch of seeds of the locust tree. I have some candles beside me, and I like to sprinkle the energy of the tuning onto the candles. And I also like to say, for those of you listening, in the collective, now and then, take a deep breath out, one more. And with your next breath in, call back all parts of yourself. It's done. Alrighty, that was awesome. Cool. That was my second group tuning. I didn't tell this story to y'all. I told it last night, but in my first group tuning I did, I was in a in-person class, and there was two classes going on. The first was a yoga class, and then they were coming over to me for a tea meditation. And with that group of people that had just been doing yoga and stuff like that with a different teacher, they came into my kitchen, and I am very, very, very aware of the energy that comes into my store. Like it is like it is like an extension of myself, right? And so somebody came in, they got through the force field of the plants that I hang up, and I could tell they didn't have a very good intent. And they even had that in their posture, like, what is this place? I've heard about this place. Is this the place that doesn't believe in germs? Or whatever. Like, they had that kind of vibe to them. And I did a group tuning live. And on the first strike, that person got up and left. And I actually, at the time, I was like, whew, good riddance. Because I really felt like it was like blocking up the energy there. But anyway, I want to show you about this Angelica, how to get this. Anyway, a little bit after that, I thought about it and I started getting in my head a little bit. And I thought, man, did I screw that class up? Did I make I was making myself uncomfortable. But really, it's great to tune people out. It really is. It's great to tune the wrong person out. Okay. So placenta wart, I'm going to also call it. Next slide, please. Is it not there? Can you see it? No. Okay. I'm going to put these slides up, add to stage. Okay. Well, can't see it, but I'm going to tell you how to get this. I made a slide, but it doesn't matter. The way to get it is to share, like, and subscribe. Like this and subscribe. It's based on the honor system. Okay, so you don't have to tell me if you actually did, but I'll believe you if you use the code. And then share something. Share something that I've done. Share some of my work in some way, whether it's one-to-one with somebody, whether it's through a story on Instagram or through Telegram or something like that. Share this if this resonated with you. And the way that I solved it with the mail, because I was like, I don't know, I'm like, I can give it away, but I can't pay for everybody's mail. So there's an item in my store at tippycanoeherbs.com called Angelica Flower Essence, Guardian Angel. And you click on that, put it to your cart, and add something else. It doesn't matter. It could be a bag of catnip, which is like $2.50. It could be a thing of mints. It could be a big old order. And you could even use, there's many ways. There's many ways of checking out. And if you're here from Interverse, that there's a coupon code that will also be available. But use the code Angelica at the checkout, and I will throw in a flower essence, this flower essence. And that goes for now, tomorrow, anytime. So I have plenty of flower essence here. I'm just going to add a drop of this to another base of stabilizer, basically. And you'll be able to enjoy that magic of confidence, of inner sun, of inner fire, of healing our relationship with our paternal and maternal lines, and gratitude to our ancestors and to our protector. And then also the organs that governs: the spleen, the liver, the pancreas, the adrenals, feeling all the buzz and rumbling of everybody else around you and of life. Little Angelica flower essence. It's not about putting up a shield. Chance mentioned this the other day. What did he say? He said something about to accept is not, what did he say? To protect is not to accept. In other words, okay, I'm going to put it in my own words. When we accept the stories that everybody else's vibes are going on around us, as that's theirs, that's their story. It's an acceptance. We don't have to put up a projection and put our energy and drain our battery into a projection of, can I make a solution? Can I rationalize this? Can I be okay with this? Or even a shield as a guard and a protector against other people's bad vibes. All that stuff takes away our energy. I think a better way of working with it is just to brighten your inner sun and entrain those vibes and then shine that light out from yourself. That's a better way. So to protect is to accept. That's what it is, right, Chance? To protect is to accept. Angelica, code, tippycanoeherbs.com. Y'all are awesome. Is the Gemini box set ready? It is tomorrow. It's going to be ready tomorrow. And if you want to wait till tomorrow to place this order, do it. It's not going to be online until tomorrow either. But yep, good question about that. Gemini box set is going to be to accept is to protect. Yeah, Chance Garton quote. Y'all have been awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you feel tuned. I hope that if this resonates with you and you feel like working with me, hit me up one-on-one as a practitioner, as an herbal tuning practitioner. I want to get my name out there of being the herbal tuner. Y'all are awesome. Beautiful souls, all of you. Thank you so much. And until next time, maybe we'll do this again on another full moon. It's been a lot of fun for me. Have a great night, y'all. Ciao.